Hey there and welcome to Scandal Steep. Alicia Andrews, allegedly involved in the murder of rapper Fulio, has now come forward with a detailed confession. She opened up about how she and her group orchestrated the entire sequence of events, from setting the trap to the tragic result. Her admission has blown the case wide open, but as expected, cooperating with the authorities has its consequences. Alicia is now facing a lot of heat, both inside and outside the prison walls, after sharing her story. Let's dive into how Fulio's killers planned the attack and how Alicia's decision to cooperate is shaking things up in every direction. The latest development in Fulio's murder case came as a shocking twist when Alicia, one of the main suspects, started talking to the police. She gave up vital information about everyone involved in the trap, and once she got arrested, she quickly identified herself in the surveillance footage without hesitation. But there's much more to the story, so let's rewind. On June 23, 2024, Fulio was ambushed and killed while celebrating his birthday at a motel in Tampa. Fast forward to July 27, and Alicia, along with two others, was arrested. Police had been working tirelessly, analyzing hours of hotel footage, tracking phone records, and using license plate readers to piece together the suspects' movements. Their hard work paid off, narrowing down the suspects to Alicia Andrews, 21-year-old Isaiah Chance, and 18-year-old Sean Wright. The arrests were like a scene straight out of a movie. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office launched a series of raids that hit the streets hard. Sean Wright was the first to be caught, surrendering in a rain-soaked parking lot with his hands raised as officers closed in on him. Meanwhile, police tracked down Isaiah in a quiet neighborhood, ordering him to the ground at gunpoint. But the real surprise came when Alicia walked out of the same house where Isaiah had been hiding. She raised her hands, was immediately handcuffed, and separated from him. Mug shots of the trio began circulating, and the charges were serious. Alicia and Isaiah were both hit with first-degree murder charges, while Sean faced even more severe allegations, including murder, attempted murder, and tampering with evidence. Despite their arrests, the authorities weren't done. Two more suspects, Rashad Davis and Davon Murphy, were still on the run. Thanks to a reliable tip, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and U.S. Marshals tracked Rashad down to an apartment complex. The SWAT team surrounded the building, ensuring he couldn't escape. They attempted to negotiate with Rashad for hours, using a loudspeaker to avoid violence, but the standoff continued past midnight. Eventually, SWAT moved in, and Rashad surrendered without further incident. He, too, was charged with murder and transported to Tampa to face trial. Meanwhile, Davon Murphy remains at large, keeping authorities on high alert. Things took a wild turn when Alicia, in her statement, threw Isaiah under the bus, revealing that he was the one driving the car that followed Fulio on the night of the murder. She also admitted to lending him her phone to communicate with Sean, who was actively involved in the hit. While some might label Alicia a snitch, her confession played a crucial role in helping investigators piece together the crime. What initially seemed like a random act of violence turned out to be a well-planned, targeted hit. Fulio's death was far from an accident. On June 22, 2024, the plan to take Fulio out went into motion. The five suspects traveled from Jacksonville to Tampa, setting the stage for the deadly ambush. Alicia even attempted to book an Airbnb through Instagram. When that didn't work out, they managed to secure one under Rashad Murphy's name, paying through a Cash App. With the Airbnb booked from June 22 to June 24, they were ready to carry out their lethal plan. Everything was caught on Airbnb's Ring camera. Footage showed Sean, Isaiah, Alicia, and Davon hanging out at the rental, which was just a short distance from where Fulio would later be killed. Adding to the mounting evidence, surveillance cameras from Rashad's home captured both him and Isaiah loading bags large enough to carry rifles into a black Chevy Impala the day before their trip to Tampa. Once settled in their Airbnb, the group started tracking Fulio. He was out celebrating his birthday and had already posted videos online, enjoying the night with his crew at another Airbnb. Their pursuit began there, but the party came to an abrupt halt when police arrived at Fulio's gathering. The property owner had been alerted about the activity and decided to shut things down. Fulio and his group were forced to leave and headed to the next location, a nightclub. Surveillance footage from the nightclub caught Isaiah and Alicia tailing Fulio's every move in a silver Chevy SUV. Isaiah was constantly on the phone, which Alicia later admitted was hers. After leaving the club, Fulio's group lingered in the parking lot while his manager scrambled to find another place for them to crash. Eventually, they settled on a nearby Holiday Inn. That's when things took a dark turn. Isaiah and Alicia drove past Fulio's parked car twice, scoping out the scene and waiting for the right moment. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew, Sean, Rashad, and Davon, were already on foot, armed and ready. Rashad, reportedly carrying a Glock, fired the first shot. Then, Sean and Davon unleashed gunfire with rifles equipped with shell catchers to minimize evidence left at the scene. The attack was coldly calculated, leaving Fulio dead and 3 others severely injured. After the hit, things only got crazy. An iCloud warrant for Sean's phone revealed shocking messages exchanged just hours after the murder. Around 12:58 p.m. and 1:0 p.m. on June 23, messages were sent from Sean's phone to Rashad. The texts were chilling, saying things like, "I'm headed home, my thirst is quenched. Pop a bottle of Don Julio today." Both messages were signed by Rashad, showing how twisted and celebratory they were after taking Fulio's life. As the investigation deepened, police searched Sean's home and found a stash of rifles in a gun safe. Among them was a rifle equipped with a metal catcher, a device designed to prevent shell casings from hitting the ground. This same metal catcher was linked to a previous attempt on Fulio's life back in October 2023, directly connecting the weapon and Sean to the murder. Fulio's death wasn't some random act of violence, it was the culmination of a brutal gang rivalry between Jacksonville's infamous ATK and KTA crews. Sean, Alicia, and the rest of the suspects all had ties to the ATK gang, and the entire attack was part of an ongoing feud that had already led to bloodshed. In the fallout of Alicia Andrews' decision to talk, the streets of Jacksonville are buzzing with both anticipation and fear. Her admission, which shed light on the deep-seated rivalry between ATK and KTA, has drawn the attention of both law enforcement and those involved in the deadly feud. Alicia's role as a key witness has not only placed her in immediate danger but has also reignited tensions in the Jacksonville hip-hop scene. In many ways, her decision to cooperate with the police marks a turning point, possibly intensifying the ongoing conflict. The rivalry between ATK and KTA, already brutal, now faces the risk of spiraling even further out of control. The factions on both sides are notorious for their retaliatory violence, and the murder of Fulio was seen as another chapter in a long history of bloodshed. With key players like Sean, Rashad, and Isaiah facing serious charges, the remaining members of both gangs are likely planning their next moves. Speculation is rampant that Alicia's testimony could lead to a wider crackdown on both sides, possibly even resulting in federal RICO charges that could dismantle the gangs entirely. The streets, once buzzing with Fulio's presence, now feel the void left by his untimely death. Fans of his music mourn not only the loss of a talented rapper but also the figurehead of KTA. His killing has sent shockwaves through Jacksonville's rap scene, where music and street violence are intertwined in a dangerous dance. As law enforcement continues to build its case, Jacksonville's streets wait, tense and uneasy, knowing that this isn't over. The full implications of Alicia's confession are yet to unfold, but one thing is clear: the war between ATK and KTA is far from finished. The question remains, who will be the next to fall?